Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, let's hop right into it once again. Draft just concluded yesterday. This will be uploaded Monday, so 2 days ago now. But let's take a look at the Steelers draft. As opened up strong. Derek Harmon, that's who I had as projected to take in the first round. Strong intangibles with Derek Harmon. We've talked about him a decent amount over the past week. He will continue to progress under someone like Cam Hayward. He's built like Cam Hayward. He's supposed to be the next Cam Hayward. It's good that he's learning from him. What? Also, sad news for Derek Harmon. His mom passed away after he was drafted. So, wishes are going out there to the Harmon family as we move on to our next pick in the third round. Took running back out of Iowa, Caleb Johnson. This was honestly one of my favorite running back in this draft class. So I'm pretty excited about getting Caleb Johnson to continue wearing the black and yellow, as I think he's going to be a great fit for our power back need. I think he's going to get a lot of touches in his first year here in Pittsburgh, as Jalen Warren won't be carrying a heavy burden on him now. As Caleb Johnson will be there to provide support and hopefully have close to an 800-yard season in his first season with us. I hope he gets that many touches. Fourth round pick, a little more interesting of a pick here, as Sanders was still on the board during this. Haven't addressed the quarterback need yet, and we went outside linebacker Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Um, Maybe he's the guy that we're planning on being the next guy up after TJ, because TJ's still unsigned. So maybe this is just a depth piece to add and hopefully develop under TJ Watt. During TJ's last year, he had that big clutch play in the semifinals against Texas with the forced fumble, the strip sack, and the fumble recovery return for a touchdown. So yeah, he lives in the in the halls, the annals of Ohio State forever because of that, and now maybe be a Steeler legend forever in his future. But we can only tell with time. I think this is going to be more of a depth piece in the foreseeable future. Maybe develops well, like someone like Nick Herbig, who was a later round draft pick too, has produced as of recent for the Steelers. And now to the last four picks are mostly depth pieces, besides one maybe we could see next year. But Yaya Black in the fifth round, another defensive tackle. That was a major position need coming into this draft, so we drafted two to add depth to that position and hopefully develop these guys for the future. Yaya Black and Derek Harmon, both. Derek Harmon definitely gonna have more of the load. Yaya Black probably only if someone goes down via injury will we see him getting consistent reps in games this year, but he adds depth to a position that was needed. And then in the sixth round, finally addressed the quarterback position with Will Howard. I talked very highly of Will Howard coming into this draft. I thought we were going to have to take him a lot sooner, and we'll address that later and on. But thought we were going to have to take Howard in like the third or fourth round. Ended up we could wait till the sixth round. Still got our guy. Seems like he was the Steelers' guy, kind of, because we didn't seem too interested in any of the other quarterback prospects that were floating around. I mean, Sanders was available till the fourth round, never took him. So, Will Howard, you know, I said I think he has a great chance to develop under a veteran quarterback. I think we're still going to go out there and either sign Aaron Rodgers or trade for Kirk Cousins. So, Howard will be probably the third string on the depth chart this year. If not, he'll be the second string learning behind Rudolph. But I think that's a solid pick for the Steelers. I think he really does have the chance to possibly develop. I've been throwing a lot of my weight behind Will Howard in the past couple weeks. So I really do like the pick of Will Howard being possibly the quarterback of the future if he develops correctly. But in the seventh round, we had two picks due to the trade in the fifth round with the Chiefs. We traded back a couple picks to pick up an extra seventh round pick. But the first one was Carson Bruner, the linebacker, son of former Steeler Mark Bruner. He just adds another more depth to the linebacker room. I think he led his team in tackles and interceptions last year, 104 tackles, 3 interceptions for Washington. So that was another consistent thing in this draft. A lot of Big Ten players drafted by the Steelers. They did seem like they were the best conference in college football last year, so it might not be the worst plan. But that's Carson Brunner, just more depth to the linebacker room. And finally, cornerback, kind of something I thought was more of a need than the Steelers front office, it seems like, because the only cornerback we drafted was Dante Kent in the 7th round. Probably someone you're not going to see much of, but depth to the position group. But how would I grade this draft? Honestly, I think it's a very middle of the road trying to draft Derek Harmon in the 1st round. I think is a that's an A level pick. Caleb Johnson, A level pick in the 3rd round, and then it gets a little more interesting with Jack Sawyer. I think that's probably wasn't the biggest need for the team, so I'm giving that pick more of a C minus C kind of pick. And then Yaya Black wasn't a fan of that at the time, especially with someone like Sanders still on the board, who was supposed to be a top 5 pick at a certain point. Was supposed to be a 1st round pick going into draft day, and then fell all the way to the 4th. So taking Yaya Black was interesting. But I'd give that a C too. And then in the 6th round, Will Howard, I'd give that B plus A minus action. That pick in general, I really do like Will Howard. I think there's potential for development with Will Howard. Wow, with other quarterbacks like Tyler Show, who went to the Saints, didn't see much room for improvement from that older 25-year-old player. Jalen Milrow, there was high upside, but there was also you never know. Could be an Anthony Richardson situation. He went to Seattle. So I think Will Howard, one of the stronger picks in our draft. Carson Bruner, very average, C plus. And then Dante Kent, I'd give that a C plus too. And where that grades out for me, middle of the road, probably B minus overall draft. For the Steelers, B minus to B. Nothing too flashy. Defensive line heavy in this year's draft, which needed to secure the front once again. Struggled in the run game at the end of last year, but there were also other position needs that I think we just waited a little too long to fill. But let's talk about some of the action after the draft as the Steelers signed 7 undrafted free agents after the draft. These will all just be kind of depth pieces, but wide receiver Rock Taylor, I think he'll probably make the team as a depth piece. Defensive back Sebastian Castro, another guy since we didn't go after a lot of cornerbacks in the draft. I think he'll make the team as a depth piece maybe. Could have a Beanie Bishop type season like last year when Beanie Bishop signed undrafted and popped off. And then kicker Ben Sauce, I think he'll probably just be a backup to Boswell, or he might get cut. Tight end JJ Gabbert, I don't think he has much of a chance making this team. We have 2 solid tight ends right now. Don't think he's gonna make it. I think the tight end slash fullback DJ Thomas Jones might make the team just because we don't really have a fullback room. So I see him possibly making it. Offensive lineman Aiden Williams. I could see him making the team as a depth piece, but I can also see him just being cut. Drafted offensive line usually don't last too long in the NFL. Wide receiver Keyshawn Williams, wide receiver need a lot of heads in the wide receiver room, so he'll probably make it. But none of these guys you're gonna see too much next season. Hopefully, unless a lot of people go down via injuries, then you can see these people lacing it up on Sundays. But for now, a whole bunch of depth was added with our 7 undrafted free agents after on Sunday after the draft. So now let's wrap up our Monday with some Monday morning comments. As had a couple comments last week. Chris Sanchez said the Steelers are gonna get Rodgers. Will Howard is a backup. For now, that is definitely probably the move that I see being played out right now. Aaron Rodgers more than likely still coming to town unless things change. Whoever knows, it's Aaron Rodgers. things to change on the fly with him. But Will Howard, you are right. He is a backup quarterback right now. The chance of development, though, I do think are there. So don't hold out. Don't be too hard on Howard just yet, because I do think we could see him in our future being the starting quarterback for the Steelers, especially if we go 9-8, 10-7 once again and can't get a high quarterback pick next season. Um, the next comment was from Mark Nethercutt. He said no Sanders. Good news. We didn't get Shedeur. A lot of teams passed on Shedeur for the first 4 rounds. Eventually, the Browns selected him. They'd pick 144, but that was probably one of the most historical slides we'll ever see. Uh, no one really knows what happens. We need the draft interviews leaked, but no Sanders for us. So, Mark Nethercutt, you got what you wanted. I hope you're happy. Hopefully, he's not a stud for the Browns. Doesn't seem like he will be, as he's already. There's 2 rookie quarterbacks there with Dylan Gabriel and him, so doesn't seem like he's really their guy. And then Sideshow Jordan on my Monday video last week commented, "This aged terribly." And a lot of stuff aged terribly last week for most of the NFL people, as everyone thought Shedeur was going high. This was in He's commenting that because last Monday I talked about possibly trading up for Shedeur. Thank God. No, we didn't do that because would have been a waste. At least it wasn't as bad as Colin Cowherd, who said give up TJ, give up George Pickens, give up the next 2 draft first round picks to go get Sanders. So at least it didn't age that terribly. The one thing that I have to my name is that I did say Will Howard would be more than likely the quarterback we draft. We drafted him, not in the round I thought, but we did draft Will Howard. We drafted Derek Harmon. Those are the 2 things I can hold my head up high on for this past week of projections in the draft. It was the first one we've projected, so cut me some slack because we got a couple right. But that is it from this episode of Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Denis, and I will see you tomorrow.